Yes, thank you, sir. Roll number 3. You're there?
Yes, sir.
Sir, read the biodata.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
हा साहेब आवाज येतो, बोला सर.
Sir. Today, this is the first day of the refresher course. Second session, the speaker was Dr. Mahadev Mule, sir. He is senior professor, Department of Environmental Science, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. Sir was having the 32 years postgraduate teaching experience at Marathwada University. Sir, area of research in a wide range of subjects, ecology and ecotexology, environmental pollution, hydrobiology and eliminations, wildlife study, aquaculture and natural resources, environmental science, remote sensing, GIS application in environmental study. Sir was research guide in both universities, Shivaji University, Kolhapur and Marathwada University. From Shivaji University, sir was guided 1 MPhil students and 4 PhD students awarded degree by Shivaji University, and from Marathwada University, 8 students was awarded.
Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University. You should pronounce like this.
Yes, sir. 8 students was awarded by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar University, Marathwada. And recently, this academic year, 7 students are registered under Dr. Mahadev Mule, sir. And 3 students was awarded in the recent academic year. Sir was published number of papers in the different papers. The total number of publications, 92 papers during this short period of 9 years, and 2 full book publications. 1 book titled that is your solid waste management, published by Lambert Academy Publication, Germany, by Latte Amol and Dr. Mahadev Mule, sir, in the year 2020. Awards and honors. Sir was awarded an honors by different countries. The first award was given the Research Board of Advisory of American Institute, USA, in 2006. The second award by HRD Ministry to work subject expert for the Commonwealth Fellowship in the subject of environment science, awarded by United Kingdom. And then the third, the keynote speaker at international conference, China, in October 2011. Sir was visited in different countries for research paper presentation and conferences. Sir was first visit at Singapore and Egypt to attend the international conference, visited at Shanghai, Chennai to attend the conference, and last 1 year, especially in the social sciences of the society. Sir was not only the academic but also social membership of the some academic bodies. Sir was member of the 3 different members, especially life member of the IAAB Hyderabad and life member of Indian Society of Remote Sensing, Dehradun, and then the third one, Asia Pacific Chemical Biology and Environmental Engineering, and POP. Sir was published number of papers in the short term within the 9 years. The Google Scholar total citation 377. H index 9 are there. I10 index 9. Scopus total citation. Am I audible, sir? Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, continue.
The Scopus total citation, that is your 92, H index 3 and document by author 13. These are the huge number of publication. Total 92 papers are there. The 5 representative people I read in front of you, the different wide range of the sciences. The first paper, that is your the municipal solid waste and climate changes. This paper was 2018. Then second, physicochemical characteristics of wastewater for open sewage drainage system in Walunji MIDC area of Aurangabad. Then third one, quantitative study of water consumption and grey water generation in Aurangabad city, Maharashtra. Then the next, physicochemical parameter study of sewage from open sewage system of urban area Aurangabad. And last one here, the qualitative study of water resources, Kendoli National Park and Northwestern region of Maharashtra. Sir, this is your the huge big list of total 92 papers. May I request to Professor Mahadev Mule, sir, mic with you, guide to our all participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It gives me immense pleasure. First, I would like to the thanks for the participant reading about the biodata. That is a formality, actually. But before starting my lecture, I take this opportunity to extend my sincere thanks to the course coordinator, Dr. Chauhan sir, inviting me for giving the lecture in this online refresher course on disaster management. As far as this particular participant is concerned, I hope so. This participant for this course is mixed participants from all faculty. I don't have any idea. How many approximately from science faculty? Hello.
Okay.
Regarding this, is this hello, kindly participant some
Oh, Tupare, Mr. Tupare, mute yourself.
Hello, sir. I am from Max background.
yes, from the different background, I think.
Roll number 19, mute yourself. Sir, sorry, sir. Mr. Tupare, Sri Krishna Tupare.
Hello, participant. Please, I think they have not unmuted their mic.
Gaurav Tupare expel kar.
Okay, Chauhan sir, I will continue. This gives me great pleasure to extend my sincere thanks to.
आमचं तेच झालं ना मी येणार सांगणार नाही मी येणार सांगणार आणि ते
Gaurav.
व्यवस्थित ते खालचं येईल
Gaurav,
त्याने काय गेल्या वर्षी ते सोपं वाटेल
Gaurav. Sir, Gauravला 2 minutes बोलवा.
Yes, I will call the Gaurav. Gaurav.
विद्यार्थी कॉलेजमध्ये बसून करून आम्ही डायरेक्ट
आता मी सगळे लिस्ट बनवल्या मला एक्सेल मधून इकडे फोन मध्ये करून दिले एक जणांनी ते VS नंबर नंबर एका ठिकाणी दुसऱ्याचे ते ठेवले नाव दुसऱ्याचे
मुळे सर आता माईक मी सगळ्यांचे बंद केलेले आहे आणि परत जेव्हा आपण तुम्ही तुमचं हे करणार जसं लास्टला तेव्हा क्वेश्चन तेव्हा ते ऑन करू सगळ्याला.
येस ओके. This gives me great pleasure to extend my sincere thanks to the course coordinator for giving me an opportunity to present in front of all these esteemed learned persons from different colleges, different educational institutions. This particular the course industrial disaster the disaster course on disaster management is for making the awareness. Why awareness about the any disaster? Because if there is any disaster, if we have to protect ourselves, if we have to protect our society, then we should have the awareness about this, because early preparedness and everything is of the great importance. But before going into detail, I think this particular course in your tenure course coordinator is going to organize a variety of the lectures on this particular the topic, and you will get the detailed account about this particular the subject. But at the beginning, I would like to discuss what is disaster, what is difference between accident, disaster, how it is being the terminologies. In first lecture, I would like to discuss about the accident, theories of accident, and then how the intensity, why we have to prevent the accident, and how, what are the factors and other. And when this accident converts into the disasters, and if we have to minimize our the damage, minimize our risk, etc., then what to do. And in the second lecture, I'm going to discuss some the disaster which are happen in industry, the case study about that one. uh, as far as this particular course regarding making the awareness about the disaster is very very important. I would like to share, once upon time in Indian continent, when there was any natural disaster, for example, if the part of India is being exposed by the storms or tornadoes, then peoples are the victims, because suddenly nature they are exposing to this the storm conditions and the tornadoes, etc., and huge loss is being there. But if you see the recent past history of India, our Orissa coast, so many the disasters, the condition was developed, but we have protected ourselves because of India's having early warning systems, and we have got the early warning about the storms and tornadoes which is going to generate in this particular area. And before that, because of our early preparedness, we have protected the people, we have shifted the people, mass evacuation is being there, and we have protected the life from that particular disaster. And now, similar to that of the European countries, in India also, we have make awareness about this particular incidents. But till success of only few incidents that people in India, we have protected our the people's life from the storms or the tornado in Indian continent. No, that because there is a uncertainty, because there any time any incidents can happen, any disaster can happen. And we should have to keep ready, our society ready for tackling these kinds of the issue. And at the first, the learned the society members should aware about this one, and government is taking the initiation as far as our educational institution as a policy matter for making the awareness about these disasters, and to make the awareness and to avoid the loss due to the any kind of natural or any man-made disaster. We have to keep ready, and these kinds of the awareness program is being organized. This Madan Mohan Malviya Center from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, former name HRDC of Dr. Bamu University, is organizing a good number of the refresher course on the disaster, making awareness among the teaching society for coping with these particular problems arise due to the natural as well as the man-made disasters. There are good number of the example, but till this particular effort of this particular center is continue making awareness among the society. For this lecture, I have selected the industrial disaster. I am going to speak in the two section. In the industry, their accident, what is difference between accident, how accident become disaster, what are their characteristics, and if we have to avoid this particular impact, then if we have to assess the any kind of the disaster, how it can be assessed. And as a researcher, as the researcher in this particular area, I would like to, because there are the good number of the thrust areas where the person from the different faculty can contribute for the research in these particular disasters. And even I think for that purpose, how it can be, disaster can be mitigated, what are the components to know, having the perspective planning for keeping our society preparedness for tackling any kind of the natural or man-made disasters. And there is a tremendous role to the teachers or researcher to work in this particular area. I take the opportunity, if the person is from the sociology or any economics, any particular branch, he can do the research in this particular area. If there is any natural disaster or if there is any man-made disaster, economist can work out how much economic loss is being there, how much is the direct loss, how much is the indirect loss, and in terms of this particular money, how we have the lose the economy by virtue of this particular disaster, etc. And researcher can work out and point out that these kinds, there is a ample scope to the sociologist, how the particular section of the society is victimized, he can point out and he can identify the vulnerable section of the society which is pro for the adverse impact because of these natural disasters, etc. And in this, not only the economists and politicians or political science candidate, but all the faculties, botanist can work out how much impact of this natural disaster on flora, fauna, diversity, impact on plants, or agriculture scientist can work out the impact of the disaster on the agriculture sector. Then the health sector, in which the person can work out how the disaster is affecting the health of the society, which section of the society is affecting and what is the mode and other. Likewise, there is not a single sector free from the human society which is affecting due to this disaster, and there is an ample scope to the physician, to the chemist, to the botanist, to the zoologist, to the naturalist, to the environmentalist, everyone having an ample scope for working out this industrial or any natural or man-made disaster, and they can contribute for the mitigational measure, they can contribute for having an appropriate policy, because as far as the mitigation of the impact of these kinds of the disaster or any impact of the accident, then there is having a appropriate policy. If policy is based on the accurate data, then we can combat that particular incidence in systematic manner, we can avoid the loss, we can protect our society effective manner. But if our data, baseline data is the faulty, then we may have some lacunas in that policy. Though we have the policy, but we cannot get the desired result if in such particular. So there is a ample scope among the researchers working in this particular thrust area, which India is contributing significantly nowadays. And even at the local level, regional level, from small village to the big town or urban area, everyone can contribute for working in this particular area. And as this is an opportunity to work in this particular area, first I have decided to speak what is relation between accident. There are the certain important terms, terminologies, and the accident, how accident become a disaster, what is difference, what are the criterias, and what are the good things for the mitigation because accident and their impact, we find the severe impact in terms of loss of life, in terms of loss of economy, and many more things is being there. And we can have the highlight in this particular course on natural disasters. Your course coordinator is going to organize the lecture in various sectors. He is going to give this expose these different topics from the disaster sections by calling the expert from the different part of the India and giving. As a teacher of the environmental science, I have a close I am teaching this. I'm teaching this natural and disaster as well as the man-made disaster, because in the environmental science, this inherent part of the syllabus, we are teaching this to our students. And hence, when I was discussing with the course coordinator, I told that, sir, I'm going to discuss about the industrial disaster. I'm going to speak in the course of the disaster management. I'm going to speak on the industrial disasters, because and the certain basic component in the first part, and with the example of the industrial disaster in the second part. I hope so. In this particular beginning introductory speech, because when I have seen the most of the participant is being awarded PhD degrees, and there is a ample scope to this hardcore researcher to work in this particular area. Apart from their basic area, they can contribute. That's why I have tried, and I try to share this particular view. Now, this okay, first I would like to continue this. Yes. Now, is my slide is visible to you? Yes. Yes. Gaurav? Problem for the progressing of the slide. Okay. स्लाइड का पुढे प्रदर्शित होत नाही, स्लाइड शेअर चालू झालेली नाही.
ठीक आहे.
कुठलं हिनं चालू झालं?
हे
सेकंड. Okay. Okay. As I have told that, as far as the industrial disaster is concerned, industries, first, I would like to share about the industry. What is the role to the industry in our life? Industries are very, very important as far as man is concerned. Man being a social animal, in which the industries are very, very important because they are contributing in the economic growth, as well as they are providing the important role to the mankind. They are providing the goods, material, usable machineries, various, the assistant providing the things which is being manufactured in the industry. Simultaneously, industries are producing the jobs, and it is generating the income and contributing in the nation's progress. And therefore, this particular industry, which is the inherent everywhere, when we think about the human development, then automatically we are speaking about the industrial development. And depending upon their capacity, the small scale industry and the large scale industry, how much quantity of the raw material, in general, in the industry, raw material is being processed and desired product which is necessary to the mankind, which is being produced in that particular industry by processing that input material, resource material, process that one by using the energy, and the fine product is being prepared that is available in the market. And these kinds of this activity, which is very, very important. And this particular industry, depending upon the small scale industry, large industry, or depending upon how much input material is being process on this, the categorization is being there. And as a country like India, similar to that of the European countries and other developed countries, in India also, these industries which are flourishing and which is contributing a significant role in India's development. By generating the employment and by improving the financial status of the country. If we consider the current status, now we are ranking at the 4th and we are very 5th as far as the GDP of countries is concerned, because by virtue of this industrial development and other which we have achieved this particular the rate. As far as this particular industry is concerned, depending upon their categorization, small scale industry, large scale industries, and they are playing the important role in the human development. The scientists, they have categorized depending upon there are the different criterias for categorizing depending upon the amount of the input material or resource process, small scale and large, depending upon the quantity of the production of the goods, etc. But there are the other criteria also. For example, in which sector industry is working. For example, if industry is working in the food sector, food processing, if industry is being working in the medicine sector, if that is in the health sector, in the economy, in the vehicle transportation, likewise, the different criteria is being there for classifying this particular industry. And as per the availability, as per the quantum of the input material pros, small scale and large scale, whereas depending upon which type of the product is being there, major industries, minor industries, metal processing industries, chemical industries, pharmaceutical industries, food processing, likewise categorization and classification is being carried out. And every industry is providing some kind of the assistance to the mankind. Depending upon that, light industry, heavy industry, this light industry caters the product that relatively small size, easy. Heavy industry, heavy machineries which is being produced with that particular industry. Likewise, this categorization which is being there, and accordingly the industrialization is going on in the different part of the world. India is, as far as India is concerned, today we have the good number of the various kinds of the small scale industry, to which the certain scientists, they are using the term light industry or heavy industry. Even in India, the specific heavy industries, they are producing the variety of the goods which is needed to the society, and which we are working. As far as this industry is concerned, which is important, when any activity is performing in the industry, we find there might be have the accident. Now we will discuss about the terms and terminologies about the accident. The definition of accident: it is an unpleasant event that happens unexpectedly and causes damage, injury, or sometimes the death. This particular accident, which is being defined by many workers, or accident is an event that is not intended by anyone, but which has been result out of injuring someone, damaging something, and he is killing the something, or due to this. And we have the good example of motors accident, industry, their accident, many kinds of the accidents which we could see. As far as this particular an accident, it is an unintended, normally unwanted events, which was not event that was not directly caused by human, but in terms of accident implies that event may have been caused. But this is the accident. Many scientists, that is unwanted events, unexpected events, suddenly happening these things, and these accidents which is happening even in the industries. And this particular industry, when there is any accident, the people get victimized, the workers working in the industries, and that is going to create the impact on that one. So this particular the accident which is undesirable or unfortunate happening that occurs in the unintentionally in an area, and that is creating the harm to the people, creating injury or creating damage or resulting the casualties, and some kind of the mishap is being happening. As far as industry is concerned, industrial accident can include chemical spills, explosion means from the industry, the leakage of the chemicals, explosions, and that occur in the industrial settings. These kinds of the impact, they can cause the injuries, fatalities, and the environmental damage, etc. Therefore, this industrial accident, we must understood the first this concept of the industrial accident, because the intensity of this accident is resulting for the disaster, because impact, what is the factor that impact of that particular accident, which is deciding whether that is a disaster or disastrous or other. So disaster is a sudden or prolonged event that cause the widespread the suffering or loss. Disasters can be natural, man-made, or that can be a technological, the disaster, and it can be a sudden, or it can be happen if it is a natural, then sudden earthquake, or any kind of the emerging the epidemic or pandemic, like the few years before, our entire world has experienced the outbreak of the COVID-19. These kinds of this pandemic, etc., are explained, are good example of the natural disasters. This particular the disaster accident is an unexpected event that is causing harm or damage, usually on the smaller scale in the accident, involving a limited number of peoples, while in the disasters, this particular distinguish what is difference between the accident and the disaster. In the accident, it is an unexpected event causing harm or damage, usually smaller scale, involving a limited number of the people. But whereas disaster refers to a large scale catastrophic causing a significant destruction, loss of life, and widespread disruption, often triggered by this natural or man-made events. And these kinds of the disasters, which is creating the much more the severe impact either on environment or the people, etc., as compared to the accident. So accident, if higher intensity, that may result into the disasters. So in the industry, this scale of the impact, which is a very, very important. And in any accident, typically when the few adverse impact is being there, then we can say small incidents or accident with the little impact. Whereas disaster is the broader in size, causing the much damage to the society. When accident happen, much damage is being there, severe loss is being there. When community is being suffering, any particular region is being suffering, then this particular is being identified as a disaster. So the scale of the impact is the principal component which is being distinguishing this accident, normal accident, or the disaster. And this particular, in this, the severity of the damage, in the accident may result minor injuries or property damage, smaller property damage, whereas the disaster leads to the major destruction, loss of life, and long-term consequence impact. As far as accident is concerned, response, whether it is accident, whether it is disaster, response for that particular incident is very important, because response to the accident, which might be helpful for mitigation of this particular, because if there is any adverse impact, this response to this incident, accident or the disaster, is very, very important. And before that, giving the response to that, there is a need to assess the impact. Whereas then and then we are going to how to respond with that particular assistance, that particular incidents or accidents, we have to decide. So when we talk about the disaster and its recovery, because when we are speaking about the response to the particular disaster or accident, then we have to consider about if any accident is being there, then we try to recover that by, if suppose car accident or other, we try to hospitalize. Minor accident, major accident, accordingly the first aid is being used and patient is being released. Likewise, or if severe damage is being there, it is being hospitalization in the intensive care unit. Likewise, for the recovery from that impact of that particular accident, these particular things are very important. And when we observe any kind of the disaster which is being taken place in the industrial area, and if the large section is being exposing, then definitely we have to think about the recovery of from that one and restoration of that particular degraded or impact of that particular disaster. What incidents which is responsible for the disasters, while that to mitigate the impact, we are trying to understand the level of the impact between this particular after the accident, and we try to assess sorry from that particular incidents. So now we use the many time accident, many time we use the incidents, we are exposing to the many kinds of the incidents. Then what is the incidents? Yeah, an incidence is referred to the event that is unplanned, that disrupt not only the operations, but it can typically be managed with the routine procedures. And incidents are common, smaller in scale, and usually handled locally, the particular at the local that particular, whereas the incidents, accidents and their hazard and other, that they need the additional the help from the other the sectors. So these particular incidents and other, they may cause the minor minor impacts and other, which can be restored, recover at their local level. For example, in any incidents, delays or inconvenience, but generally don't the threaten the overall integrity of that particular business or industry which is being taken place. So this particular term incidents and accidents, then what is the difference between accident and incidents? An accident is an event that has unintentionally happened, which results into the damage, injury or harm, whereas incidents is an event has unintentionally happened, but this may not be result into the damage, harm or any injury, which is only difference, which is not resulting any harm, damage or incident. Then that particular things we call incidents. Therefore, every accident can be in the incident, however, not a incident. Every accident is an incident, but every incident is not a called term as an accident. This particular thing is being there, which is very, very important, because before the accident, when we analyze, when we try to find out the accident and other, first incidents happen because that is indicating the pro conditions. Incidents may result into the accident, accident may result into the disaster. So therefore, there is necessary to understand the difference between accident, incidents and this particular the events. This particular near miss events, many times what happens, suppose we are walking, a tree is falling and a vehicle is being passing, it is being missed by chance. Yeah, on the net, when we are opening the YouTube, you could see the good number of the person is taking the vehicle, and next time that he is taking the appropriate position, and backside the vehicle is being hit by the other. Missing, near miss means by chance, that how the person is being survived. I would like to give the good, there were good number of the examples where near missing is being there, and they are saved from that particular probable adverse impact of that particular accident. So near miss is an unplanned event that did not result in the injury, damage or illness, but that could have done if some certain factors have saved that particular things or that situation which is saving from that adverse impact of that particular accident. So near miss is is a common phenomena we could see in the workplace where person is working with the machine and other actually many time from the injury the person is being survived. This near miss which things is being also there in the workplace like industry and other, but many time when the person is being victimized, then we called it as a accident. Near miss, if person is being suffering, then we called it as a accident because that person is being injured. Many time car running the stop signs and nearly hitting someone coming through the intersections. Likewise, these incidents, near miss and accident, when road is crossing, car is by missing that particular person, uncontrolled car missing that person, near miss is being there. Whereas the accident, when car is hitting the person which is crossing the road, that is the accident. There is a difference when person is not victimized and that missing is being there, that is near miss. These particular, as far as any workplace in industry, this near miss accident, and when impact of the accident is going to deciding the hazard. So in the industry, there were the workers working in the industry and many kinds of the accidents which are happening in the industry workplace because they are working with the various kinds of the machineries and the peoples are being there, and there were many of the factors which may be leading the near mishap. They may be leading the incidents where no impact is being there. Incidents sometimes that may result in it may accident may there or disaster may be there in the industry, there in the workplace. And when disaster is being there, chemicals, spillage of the chemical, explosion, fire, or other kinds of these particular the things which is being happening in the incidents, and they can cause the serious injuries, fatalities, or that may cause the serious environmental damage, etc. So this particular the near miss, near miss incidents, accident, and hazard, you can understood the link and intensity of the damage of that in that particular activity in the industry. As far as industry is concerned, major industrial accident involving the dangerous chemicals posing a significant threat to the human health, and they are causing the adverse impact on the surrounding environment. Furthermore, such accidents are creating this huge impact, economic impact. They are losing the huge economic loss is also there that may responsible for the disturbance of the human sustainable the growth, or sometime they may be the responsible for causing the other kinds of the adverse impact, specifically by affecting the fundamental roles of the people. Mainly the peoples are suffering for performing the daily routine activity which they were suffer from those kinds of the incidents. Virtually the various kinds of the impact, health hazards and other kinds of the threats might be posed due to these the industrial hazards. So therefore there is aims to prevent when industry, we are working in the industry, which is necessary to the mankind, because we have discussed industries are necessary for the economic development, because countries' economic development, the industries are providing the job opportunities, industry, economic welfare, many kind. It is helping for enrichment of the GDP of the countries. So by many ways, these industries are helping. So in the industry, the industrial environment should be the disaster-free, accident-free, and there should not be any more accident or disaster in that one. And therefore, main aim of the industry to prevent the major accident which is taking place in the industries. And we have to employ the systems where there should not be major accident, there should not be major, minor, or any industrial disaster. So, and we should have to ensure the appropriate preparedness if there is any incidents. That may be natural, that may be machinery, institutional, or any kind of the disaster happening in the industry, then it is to be ensure that we should be kept ready to tackle that particular issues, that early preparedness, which is very, very important as far as the response to any incidents or disaster is concerned. Therefore, if there is any accident happening in the industry, then we should have to keep ready to tackle that particular issues by keeping our society prepared to tackle the issue. And there are the good number of the consequence impact of any accident. If there is any accident happen in the industry, then we could see the good number of the consequence impact of that particular, which is creating the human health problem, then other economic loss or other environmental degradation and other so and so forth. The consequence impact is being concerned. Then this particular, the industrial safety and other, which should identify and promote the lessons among the workers or in that industrial place where the people can keep the environment accident free in that industry, and we can prevent the major incidents, accidents. And if there is any accident, they can have the early preparedness, which they can reduce the adverse impact in that particular industrial. This particular figure, if we see the clockwise direction, this arrow is being there. This particular, in the any industry and accident, there is a need to continuous improvement in the life cycle of any product, industry or machineries which is being performing in that industry. And if there is any accident, then this particular, to prevent the accident, we have to keep the preparedness, means the systems for tackling the issues of that one. Preparedness, early preparedness is very important. And the system preparedness, which is providing an opportunity to give the immediate response. And this particular, from that particular, how much is the result of that particular response, that is to be assessed. And accordingly, we can have the understanding which response is good, which is better, which is poor, and we can have the lessons and we can learn from that one and we can make the adjustment and other. And to prevent these kinds of the accidents in industry, this particular kind of the thinking is being important one. And keeping the system ready, preparedness, early preparedness and response systems. I would like to give the good example in USA when airport is being landing, because there is a problem in the landing gear of the travelers, the aeroplane taking the total person more than 300 in USA, and the pilot has taken the decision instead of landing, because landing gear is not working, and immediately they have decided to land this particular aeroplane in the ocean. Immediately early warning systems has created, and this they have system is there prepared. The disaster management system is so very active. How much is the response time? Within the 7 minutes, their response preparedness is ready. They have prepared the systems and they have given the directive to the pilots, land in the river. And when aeroplane is being landing on that particular river meeting into the ocean in that particular region, creek regions, and in the ocean, when it is sinking, within that 7 minutes, 300 passengers were rescued times and other. Why it is successful? Because on the ground, that landing of the aeroplane is the crash and people are going to suffer. But because of their preparedness and the immediate response time, 6 minutes is the minimum response time. And for rescuing from both the sides, their rescue system is being there. 350 passengers, they have rescued within the 10 to 12 minutes. Response for the preparedness, response times, and rescuing method employed. And from there, they are assessing and the saving the lives from these kinds of the incidents, disaster, etc. So it is very, very important, and we should know these things if we have to protect our society from the adverse impact of any kind of the disaster. then we should know this preparedness and the response time and the method which is being overall. In the any systems, there might be some lacunas and other. There is a need to have the continuous improvement in their systems, what the cycle which is being there in tackling the disaster issue, that clockwise cycle, preparedness, getting ready, the system, early preparedness, response times, and the actual practice in this particular cycle. There is a need to continuous upgradation, what improvements and other which is being there, and accordingly in the clockwise direction, this particular the response and preparedness which is necessary. All these things part which is to be necessary to know to the everyone, because for promoting the safety in the industry, and if there is any accident, then even in that accident, early preparedness, response times and other can save the life, can mitigate the impact of that particular. For that purpose, these things are very, very important. Now, if in industry, if we have to keep the environment free from this accident, incidents or any hazards, then we have to understood what are the causes for the accidents in the industry, because there are good number of the theories in the science. Industrial safety is the course, special design. If someone is interested, I think, to perform this industrial safety in Chennai, Adia region, with their online, I think, distance course is being there, that institution, that Neelam, National Institute of Labor Education and something is being there in Adia region of the Chennai. They are performing the distance courses on industrial safety. In that particular various theories of accidents and other basic they are teaching. And all those the colleges which are running the safety courses, industrial safety, fire safety, industrial safety, in this particular, the accidents and other theories which is being explained. So you must know the cause, because if we know the cause, for the mitigation, if we have understanding that this is a probable cause, we can avoid that one. So to avoid that one, we should know what are the causes of the accident and how it is being happening. And specifically, industry and their premises it is to be kept free from the accident. And this particular industrial accident, which is causing because of the number of factors which are making a pro conditions for the accident, and which is including the unsafe equipment. If the machineries which are not good in conditions, if which are not maintained, unsafe, and then poor housekeeping is being there. If in the particular area, I would like to give housekeeping. This is a very common term in day-to-day routine life. We find our the family members, each and everything good in our house. They are maintaining every place for position is being there. In the kitchen, there is a place for the gas cylinder where fire is being there. There is a specific position for the electric equipment, away from the water, tap, etc. This housekeeping, which is avoiding the incidents, etc. So there are the various factors which is to be considered, and for the keeping the safe environment in this, the proper housekeeping. If material is being there, and that is huge material is being kept in the door, and if there is a fire incident and worker want to escape from that one, but that if that the loaded material in the door is obstacle, then people may victimize. So keeping the way, exit, the free from the any unwanted dumping, unwanted keeping the box material. This housekeeping, which is very, very important as far as industrial safety is concerned, or the causes, the improper, there are the various factors in which the unsafe equipment, poor housekeeping, and human errors. In the human errors, so many robotics and robots, they cannot bring any mechanical error, but humans, there is a chance of the error during the operation. So there are the various factors which are creating the condition pro for the accident. let us discuss one by one in equipment issues. If in the workplace industry inadequate the instruments are being there or equipments which are not good in conditions, then the victim, the workers may be the victim of that particular unmaintained the machineries in the workplace. Or if the equipment that is not properly maintained, no maintenance in the equipments or no time to time inspection, servicing inspection of those instruments, and workers are coming and they are working with that one, and sometime they might be result into the accident. So poor design in the workplace, in the industries and other, the poor designing is also many times is responsible for the having the certain kinds of the incidents, accidents. I would like to give the very good example in recent past in Aurangabad city, one beverage industry's huge content of that material was there, and the person was welding in that particular container, and the incidents was there, poor workers were there because poor design of that particular systems, which is responsible as far as the near Aurangabad in last 3-4 months incidents was there. There were many kind of these things are being there. Poor design of the equipments, poorly designed manufacturing, these defects in the instruments, they may result into the accidents, and these kinds of the dangers which is being associated with the poor designing and the improper making of the equipment, etc. Many times we find the electrical or mechanical failure, electrical systems or mechanical systems failure is being there, which may leads into the accident. And as far as human is concerned, human error is very, very important because improper use of the machineries. Many times the fatigue, if one person is continuously working with that industry, and then it might be victimized. For example, let us consider there is a wood cutting machineries, ARA machine, which is cutting the wood. Every time that worker is to be give the attention for the safety handling of the wood and other material. But by chance, if he is fatigued and pushing the wood and the hand, he may be accident might be result. And many times this could be happen. We could see in the workers working in the threshers and machineries. Generally, this is the season where the rabi crops, the harvested crops is being, threshers are being used, and laborers, they are working, fatigue laborers, when they are putting the input in that threshers, and sometimes their hand which is being victimized, and these kinds of the incidents, these unsafe human error, because fatigueness and unsafe act in vicinity of the machine. Many times this has been happen when we are driving the vehicles, motorbike, and the back seated second person who is sitting, and their the cloth, I think generally the dupatta or other which is being stuck with the wheel, and accident. These kinds of the unsafe acts and other, many times in industries also, in the workplace, these kinds of the incidents which is resulting into the accident. Many times untrained, the peoples are not trained for operating the particular types of the machinery. Lack of the training is the sometime cause for the leading the accident. Generally, suppose new vehicles is being there with the trainee drivers and other, because he might be not ready to understood what kind of the situation is being there during the driving the vehicles, and the beginners, the sometimes suddenly he may not able to operate with the gears, and accident might be result. So this lack of the training and these things which is leading into the accident in the workplace. Generally, the fatigue conditions, workers when continuously exposing to that one, and this fatigue, long hours working period, and the manual labors lead to the in fatigue conditions, and when fatigue conditions which is making pro conditions for the accident, and risk of the accident is being increasing during the fatigue. Many times the stress conditions, because there were not only the workers, they have their home traces, many familiar relations, and many good numbers. And in the working, if he is working with the machineries and having the stress and other, he may not concentrate to work in that machine and prone for the accident. And generally, the in the workplace, in the industry sectors, we could observe the good number of the accidents which have been resulted due to the stress. Workers which are not in normal conditions, they are in the stress conditions, and they are responsible for the accident, or there is a risk of accident to the person working in the stress conditions. So this, as far as the other reason is concerned, I have spoken about the poor housekeeping, which is responsible for this particular, any incidents or accidents or sometime. I would like to give the very good example. There was an incident, the school captured the fire, and teacher, there was exit was not there, and the students were victimized. That because of that, the no way is being there to go to exit way is being there. Poor the arrangement of the things in that particular area. Safe exit first, with the, if there is any unsafe act, unsafe conditions, or any disaster is being there, then first for the rapid escape, these kinds of the things which the way is to be kept free so person can rapidly escape. This poor housekeeping many times is responsible for the industrial accidents. Then cultured workplace, this particular component is very important. Work culture, it is one of the aspect which is very important, because this when workers are working with the systematic manner, wearing with the safety measures, they are following the typical work culture, the minimum impact is being there. They are saving themselves from the adverse condition if there is an accident and other, till they are able. But if the irregular person is not following the terms, conditions, safety measures, and working in that one, that is pro conditions for the accident, then many times in the cleanliness and other these things, which is very important in industry, the oil, grease, and other make the slippery things. And when person is, there is a chance of accidents also. So oil speed, liquors, oil and grease, these kinds of the things which is being resulting due to this improper handling or the improper cleaning of these things, which is resulting into the injuries or accident, into the incidents or accidents might be happen in the industry. The intensity of the impact of that accident depend upon the nature of that particular intensity of the impact. Whereas there are many other causes also in the industry which is responsible for the many kinds of the accident, disaster, etc. Generally, the industry working with the hazardous, there are the 12 to 13 kinds of the different hazards, which is being poisonous nature, flammability, many kinds is being there, corrosivity, and other 12 kinds of the hazards is being there. And if in the industry this hazardous material is being handled, improper handling of the hazardous material which is leading into the accident, and if the person without wearing the personal protective equipments and other, and if they are handling this hazardous substance, then there is a chance of the accident. And when the accident is being there, the sufferer person, workers working with the without personal protective equipments and other, they might be responsible for the adverse impact this accident may cause, and the good number of the victimization might be there because of this, the hazardous material. Generally, the workplace should have the sufficient light. Improper proper light, if dark condition is being there, person visibility is not there, improper visibility and other, that is the pro conditions for the accident. And if we have to mitigate these particular, then the internal work area, there is need to have the proper lighting. If dark, if the improper lighting is being there, that may create, sorry. So the availability of the sufficient light in the workplace, which is providing the good conditions. Otherwise, the availability of the light that might be inviting the certain kinds of the incidents, etc. Now, when we speak about the causes of these various causes which are responsible for the accident, then what are the, in as far as industry is concerned, major industry is concerned, because minor industries, industrial processes is at the small scale level, then impact might be in the small one. But if the industry is the major industry, then that may be responsible for the causing the major damage or severe incidents or the disasters. Then what are the main causes for the industrial accidents? If we consider the number of factors in which we find the improper lifting systems, mechanical systems, the improper lift systems, improper the mishandling of the hazardous substance, and then the pro conditions for that one, improper the housekeeping, and the fatigue humans and other the conditions which may lead into the accident in the workplace. Therefore, in the industries, major accidents and other, the various factors are responsible, ranging from the incorrect the lifting methods. For example, heavy material is to be lifting in the industry. Their cranes are being there, and they are lifting the material, picking from one place, loading at the another. If improper this lift is being there, then that may be result into the incidents, accidents. In the YouTube, you may have seen that the proper cranes are there which are loading or uploading the huge material, but incidents is being there, that crane get collapse and accident is being there. This improper or incorrect lifting methods or improper handling of the hazardous substance, which is responsible for the inviting the accident in the industrial area, and those are found to be the most common the causes at the workplace which are inviting the accident in the workplace. And the different category accident may be resulted due to these kinds of these, which is causing the severe damage to the environment. They may causing the impact over the machineries, then human health, wealth, and other things which is being affecting. As far as the environment is concerned, if there is any major accident which is affecting the environmental component, and many times the environmental components are also responsible for the certain kinds of the accidents. For example, environmental factors containing the certain the conditions about the workplace. For example, if the clean light, sufficient light is not there, darken is being there, people maybe suffer from that one. The workplace, including both the natural and man-made elements, which is being affecting with the surrounding environmental conditions. Sometimes many environmental issues are responsible for having the major environmental disaster in the certain areas. Many times inadequate light, which poor visibility in the workplace is the frequent the cause for the slipping, falling the particular object, trips or fallen. Insufficient lighting can make the difficult to see the potential hazards, specifically those working with the hazardous substance and the heavy machineries. These particular the things where inadequate light is inviting the industrial accidents in many places, generally in the shadow areas and other these kinds of the incidents is being there. Sometime in the workplace, we find the extreme temperature, which is responsible for having the certain kinds of the problem, overheating of the object. Then hypothermia can occur if workplace is too hot or too cold, respectively. If in the workplace, this temperature which might be responsible for having the certain kinds of the problem, too hot or too cold conditions. Many times from the environment, air quality, many times the poor air quality, which is or air pollutants which are responsible for the certain kinds of the hazards. Specifically the pollutants which is being released from that industry, they are responsible for the respiratory disorders. in the workplace, excessive noise pollution, which is responsible for the stress conditions, on other fatigue and other conditions. If a metal industry where hammering of these things creating the huge noise, and if the workers working in the industry, metal industry, without any the safety measures, and if they are working with the heavy machineries, and they may be exposed, their hearing capacity loss, and they are prone converting to the pro for the accident. So their noise pollution, excessive noise level may cause the hearing loss, and which may create the pro conditions for the accident. The slips and falls in the workplace, the person may suffer the falling by slippery conditions and other, which is responsible for this particular accident. The wet floor or floor coated with the oil, grease, and sometimes pathways, which is responsible for the slipping of the footwear. Generally in the workplace, the shoes and other safety shoes and other material is being there, but many times this oil, grease, and other which make the slippery conditions, and improper cleaning in that particular they may be responsible for the small accident, etc. So there were environmental factors. Good number of the environmental factors may be responsible for having these kinds of the accidents, and specifically the environment may cause the accident at the workplace. That happens because working environment is being degraded, and that can act as an important factor for the local accident, or sometimes the major accident in the workplace, in which poor lighting, low visibility, ambient temperature, air pollution, the breathing issues, if suppose smoke conditions and other is being there, the breathing issues, likewise, or the excessive sound pollution, all these are the major environmental issues responsible for the causing the various kinds of the industrial accident. Many times in the working place, the mechanical the causes which are dominating for the accident, the faulty equipment, machineries, improper, there is no servicing, no proper time to time checking, inspection of that particular machine, and which may be responsible for the accident, or they may be leading into the accident because of the equipment failure, breakdown of the equipment, improper maintenance of the industrial machineries, and the safety protocols are not followed during the operation of the machineries, which is responsible for the accident. Generally, the broken, damaged machine part can be easily broken, damaged, and poor quality maintenance, which may be responsible for these kinds of the issues. Fire, the emerging the fire from the particular area, then cooling failure, the system in the industry, cooling system is being there. If cooling system is failed, then that may leads into the accident in that. The fair wear and tear, this particular wear and tear, these systems which may be responsible for making the pro conditions for the accident in the industry, and the high risk condition which is being resulting due to this, the improper maintenance, etc. And these mechanical factors and other which is being responsible for these kinds of the conditions. So poor housekeeping and other fatigue, and we have discussed about these things. Poor untied workers which cause the slip, trips, and falls, which is being responsible for these kinds of the accident. Over extraction, stress, dehydration, improper lifting, and all these are the incidences which are responsible for making the pro conditions for the accident. When we came to the industry and industrial accidents and their incidents, almost always the prevention of the accident should be the proper aim of the first safety measures. And when industry, the safety measure is to be followed, and the workplace is to be maintained as a safe, accident free, for which the proper training is to be given to the workers, and the proper tips is to be given to the workers, specifically working in the industries. And these particular the tips at the appropriate time to avoid the impact or to avoid the loss due to the accident, etc. These tips are also proved to be the very important one. And in the any industry, to maintain the accident-free environment in the industry for the employer safety purpose, etc., there is a need to have a proper plan and should have a proper feedback mechanism systems at the employee level. Because proper planning, if the thing is being there, in any case, if there is a proper planning, which is going to give the good result, if there is no planning, which is not going to give the good result. The simple example, if we are traveling from one place to the other, and haphazardly if we are going to the bus stand, and when we reach to the bus stand and we came to know that bus is not today, tomorrow, then we have to wait. But if it is a plan, if I am planning my travel, then first I am searching whether what kind of the transport mode is available, whether ticket is available to the train, bus, or other. And if everything is being prepared, what should be the mode of the journey, what should be the mode of journey from home to the bus stand to the desired place and back. And if I'm planning how much time is required, where I'm to stay, everything is being planned, then that is going to give a good result. But haphazard, always it is going to face the unforeseen problems. And in the same principle is applicable into the industrial safety. As far as safety measure is concerned, proper plan is to be prepared for the worker safety and indoor environment safety, and that is to be employed properly. Their feedback is to be time to time feedback is to be taken. And this particular as per the need, training of the workers working in the industry is needed, and that training is to be promoted for, and awareness about the safety is to be promoted among the workers. And overall, whatever it may be the peoples they are coming across in the industry, industrial premises, in their community, the safety measures is to be followed. They have to follow the safety measures. They have to focus. Their focus should be on the skill development and education of all the employees as far as safety measure in the workplace is concerned. And they have to ensure that all those supervisors which are monitoring their workplace, they have to report this particular the work conditions to their higher authority as far as safety measure is concerned. Ultimately, it is a supervisor's responsibility to inform to their higher authority and take the care of that safety of the workers in the industry. They should provide the avenue for the employee to share their safety concerns and ideas for improving the safety in the workplace. Specifically, the establishment of they have to plan for maintenance of the particular industry in the scheduled time place. They have to maintain the systems so workers can work without any accidents. Daily, weekly, and monthly base manufacturer suggestions, which is to be called regarding the work safety environment as far as industry is concerned. The quick repairing and addressing all the defective parts of the machineries and other. If someone has reported that this spare part of machine is not working, there is a chance of incidents, then supervisor has to take the stringent action. They have to call that one, then repair that machinery and maintain the accident-free work. That is, these kinds of the quickly response in this particular section, which is necessary for the maximum output and the safe environment in the industry. Whatever it may be the equipments which is being needed for the protection, personal protective equipments and other, these to be tested and then utilized in the industry. The creating the regular inspection schedule is necessary as far as machine and other the workplace in the industry is concerned, which will be helping for maintaining the accident-free environment in the industry. So workplace injury and their prevention can be mitigated with the help of the proper tips as far as their HR their human resource manager, HR manager is concerned, they can give the tips to the workers. While they will provide the injury if they follow these tips, and other they ensure that the good the safety environment workplace, and there will be minimum industrial accidents and other in that particular company. For which what is needed? Proper planning and training to the among the workers, and the key aspects about the safety of the workers in the workplace, specifically in their industry. And the comprehensive training is to be given to the workers for the safe working environment in the industry without any accident and other, to minimize the injuries and other in the industry. So overall, this, what are those tips which provide the or which minimize the industrial accidents? The important tips, as far as tips is concerned, these industrial accidents are largely preventable when the effective safety protocols and comprehensive the employee training are implemented. Here are some essential tips for minimizing the risk at the workplace or the accidents free environment in the industry. Develop a comprehensive safety plan. That is the first. In any industry, there should be have a comprehensive and perspective plan. Perspective म्हणजे यथार्थ दर्शन, actual what the needed, actual the perspective planning is being needed, which creates the safety awareness, or which provide the safe environment to the workers, which incorporates all the sections of the employee, from supervisor to the higher authority, top to the bottom of the workers working in that industry can get the benefit of the safety plan. Regular training about the safety is to be given regarding and awareness about the safety is to be given among the worker. Regularly, the worker is to be trained for that purpose, and monthly training, the seasonally, if they are changing their workplace or the activities and other these kinds of the training, regular training is very, very important. And emphasize the skill development among the workers, and educate the worker regarding the safety in the workplace. These particular there is a requirement of the specific skill. For example, if in the industry is to be protect free from the fire, and fire extinguishers are being there, but if peoples are there, but if they doesn't know how to use that fire extinguisher, so there is a need to develop the skill. Every worker should operate the fire extinguishers. How, if there is a fire incident, every worker can operate that equipment and protect that work area free from that fire. So emphasis on the skill development as far as the accident-free environment in industry is concerned, and as per the needed skill to the workers, which is being given, and emphasis is being given to all these employees, which should be trained proper for the work, safe workplace, keeping the safe workplace, accident-free workplace. Then in this particular, there is a supervisor's role. Oversight, supervisory oversight. Ensure the supervisor should ensure that he is continuously monitoring the systems and providing the clear avenue to the employees for the safety measures. If there is the pro condition is being there, immediately supervisor has to intimate to that workers, and suggested the improvement to the workers for remaining the safe from that unsafe conditions. So likewise, there is a need, if any industry is being there, then is the scheduled machine maintenance in any industry, their maintenance. If we are purchasing the vehicles, what we are doing, we are servicing our vehicle at the regular time. The person who is servicing it, that vehicle is going to give the good result. The same principle is applicable in the industry when machineries and other their maintenance and other things which is to be cared at the regular time interval, and rigorous maintenance schedule is to be employed. on the daily, weekly, as per the requirement of that particular machines, and scheduled for checks, check-based manufacturing, cross-checking, suddenly cross-checking of that particular safety measures, all these to be employed. So the accident-free environment can be maintained. If there is any particular fault in the machineries, the prompt repair, that the supervisor should promote the scheme, or they have to propel that particular schemes, that rapid the recovery of that particular machines, rapid recovery or repairing of that which is to be employed, so machine parts and other, so it can be prevent the accident from that particular faulty machine, rapid recovery. Then when any machinery is being there, when new kinds of the system is being there, implying that when they're testing of that particular systems or equipment with the before use of that particular machinery in that industry for the safety purpose and other, these equipment testings which is to be carried out before the installation of any particular system, regular inspection which is providing these kinds of the tool for the safe work environment in the industry. So if these things is being there, we can maintain the workplace safety. But when incidents is being happen, we know that that industrial accident is going to create the impact on the surrounding environment, health, wealth, many sections which is going to suffer. If in the industry, if we are not taking the care of the industrial accident, then that particular industrial accident is causing the impact. And what are those impacts? Industrial accident can have the serious consequence on the employee health, then the families, and even their organizations which is being suffered from that particular industrial accident. Specifically, the health aspect is being suffered. Immediately the worker working in the industry are suffering from the adverse, the pollutant or adverse, the particular organisms which is being released from the incidents or accident. If there is any injury, then that is going to create the health impact or health problem in the society. So accident can cause the serious injuries, or sometime it may be result into the death one. And if these particular, we should know if the accident is being happened, then that may be cause these serious injuries or death among the workers. So therefore, many time what happens if accident is being there, then the psychological trauma which is being result into the survivor in the workplace, industrial workers and other which may be suffer. Those who are the victims of that industrial accidents, they may be suffering from the psychological trauma. Specifically, this is being when any industrial accidents or major accident is being happens, and from that incidents, the people some survive from that ones, or the people those who have witnessed that particular accidents, or the families which they have protected themselves from that accidents, victims maybe, and these such peoples which is came across to the close to that particular accident, they may have the psychological problem, psychological trauma, and this particular they may result into the anxiety, depression, and the post-accident, post-traumatic stress, this particular disorders, PTS, these post-traumatic stress disorders, which may be resulted into the workers, and that is a very serious condition as far as workers is concerned. And therefore, these kinds of the health impact which is resulted due to the accident. As we have discussed that any industrial accident which is causing a severe economic loss, economic impact is being there, economic loss is being there. So when any incidence is being there, accident which is losing the productivity in that industry, that accident can lead to the impact over the daily production, or it may delay the production, it may stop the production, and other automatically that is causing the economic loss to that industrialist, productivity of that goods, customs, or what material which is producing in that industry, that is being losing. As far as the accident, sometime the accident may be responsible for increasing the cost of manufacturing. If accident is being there, sometime the raw material is being victimized, sometime workers, they may have to replace the work, they may have to spend the money for the hospitalization of the workers and other. So directly or indirectly, the cost of the production of that particular industry is being increasing because of the accident. And these particular, through the health impact, through the economic, the damage to the product, etc., or even through the administrative, the cost which is increasing. So these particular accident which is responsible for increasing the cost. Loss of reputation. Many times, this loss of reputation in any business industry, reputation works, and that particular many times the loss of reputation is being there. Accident can damage the company's reputation. This is for the vehicle and other. Nowadays, we are having a fad of use of the four-wheelers with the safety. We are checking the ranking for the safety measure. If accident is being there, then companies are checking their vehicles for the crash test, and they are checking the safety of the travelers or persons, and accordingly the safety ranking is being there. And many times these accidents and mishap in this particular may the cause this particular loss of reputation, because that industry and other, that production of the goods and their reputation, sometimes they may be victimized because of these accidents. I would like to give the very good examples in the reputation, the certain companies and their vehicles, as far as their safety measure is concerned, the some vehicles, their models having the safety rankings, and accordingly this reputation which is being maintained by this particular industry. But many times this particular reputation of the particular industry is on the risk because of their accident happen in their industry. Many times the accident may reduce the morals among the workers, among the their administrators, among their owners, etc., and which may leads the secondary problems due to the low morals and absentness of the sensitivity, etc. I would like to give a very good example as far as the accident is concerned. When there is any accident, and immediately person has to be hospitalized for the survival purpose. But many times, I would like to give the good example from the China. When accident is being there and person, suppose owner vehicle, driver who is driving that vehicle, and that particular person who is victimized because of that accident, it is to be hospitalized. There was one incident in these kinds of the incidents in China. What they have done, the person who is being victimized of the oxygen accident, he has claimed a very huge compensation to the persons, and the court of the China has given such a decision. Huge compensation is being requested. Then among the driver, what was the incidence? If there is a mishap, if there is an accident, first the person driver, he would like to hospitalize. But after this particular Supreme Court's the decisions in the China, what they have done, everyone, if there is a ranking after this particular incidents in China, what happening, if person is driving and if they want to the heavy ransom from the particular person who is having a capability to purchase a good quality car or a high cost car, the person, they come in front of that one and they claim that this particular person has hit me, and they are claiming the claim for their accident to that car owners. And this has resulted, what happening, if the common person later on that become a fashion. Actually, this was the happening in the low morals, in the accident, how it is being responsible. What happens then, when any unknowingly person hitted, then that driver rush away, they take the car back and they keep that person as it is in the injured condition on the road, and he escaped, because he knew that if he is being captured, if he tried to take him in the hospital, then in the court heavy penalties is to be paid to that one. So in accident, many times these kinds of the low morals and other, which is leading the various kinds of the issues and other, as far as industry is concerned also, the low morals, which is one of the important the factor responsible for this accident. Environmental damage. Accident can cause the environmental damage, and this is very important. Whenever big accident, fire and other severe damage to the environment is being the resulted. Now, these kinds of these particular common causes for the industrial long working hours, insufficient break, and if when we try to find out the causes for the promoting the accidents or what are the common causes for the industrial accidents, then we could know the long working hours, insufficient break, then demanding work environment, which can lead into the fatigue, and fatigue, which is making conditions for the accident. Trips and falls, the fall, the lifts, machineries, fault in that machinery, which may be or high traffic corridors, improper footwears, can cause the trips and falls. And many times in the industry, fire and explosion, improper handling of the flammable materials, faulty equipments, and inadequate safety measures, which can be caused into the fire and explosion accident in the industry. Therefore, what to do after the accident, when these kinds of the accident is being happening in the industry, then what we have to do? The first, notify the employer immediately. Wherever workers are working, they have to inform their higher authority or owner of that industry that this, notify that accident. See the doctor of your own choosing, and the fill out the workers' claim for as soon as possible claim. Nowadays, in the workers, the liability insurance, under the Liability Insurance Act, every workers' health insurance is to be insured, then their proper claims and other, which is to be done immediately. The effect of this workplace accident, if any workplace accident is being happen in the workplace or in the industry, then what are the impact or effects in the workplace accidents, which is causing the impact over the business, as well as it is causing the impact on the productivity of the industry, whereas it will be affect on the sales of the product which is being there, then which is reducing the low morals in the staffs which is working in their industry, and ultimately it is affecting the reputation of the particular industry. Specifically, the workers are suffering from the injury during the accident, specifically in the indoor environment, workers are suffering from that one, and they are suffering as a first from the industrial accident. Under the health and safety, the acts and other, they should get the compensation and other. This particular, but many times in the industry and industrial, the reputation reporting of this very small is being reported. Many of the case which is being not reported after workplace employee, their data and other, this account is to be kept. If minor incidents, whether mishap, the minor incidents or accident or hazard, their account is to be kept. Otherwise, what happens? These are necessary for proper planning of these things, ultimately, which is going to affect on the smooth functioning of the industry and workplace. Overall, that business, which is depending upon that industry, which is going to hamper. So therefore, in the industry, these safety measures, which is to be followed for the workers' health, as well as for the continuous production, for the minimization impact of that particular things. Here, if we could see, the impact is being there, which is on the cost, wealth, health, many aspect is being affecting due to the industrial accident. There were the direct cost and indirect cost. There were many of the costs which are hidden cost, or we called it as the indirect, and many cost impact cost is direct and many of them are the indirect one. Many times indirect costs are more than that of the direct cost. And therefore, in workplace, keeping the workplace free from the accident or any hazard-free work environment, which is a need of the time, which can prevent the loss of production. I think if this particular cost is being there, indirect cost, which is losing the production time or loss of the production time, the sick pay, if the worker which is suffering from the ill health, from the accident, then they have to pay, company has to pay, because if they procure the sick leave and they have to, company has to pay the sick leave, that in absence of that, workers payment is to be done to that particular owner. The extra wages are required. If regular worker is not coming, then additional workers they have to deploy for that one, and extra charges to be spent. Overtime is to be given to that particular temporary layer. The loss of time for the production and the loss of the product. If many time what is there in industry, they have the target for the production of the certain goods at the certain rates, and sometimes this target cannot be achieved within the stipulated time period. If any industrial accident is being there, then their loss of the production and other which can be avoided. And for what purpose this? Many time when such incidents is being there, many time the workers they are not, or the administration, HR department of that industry is lacking. They are not performing any investigation. But actually, investigation is being needed to mitigate this, and it is to be carried out in the specific investigative time. That is, many time the excess time is being required, but within the specific time period that is to be. But many accidents and others, some time is to be spent for the investigation, and that investigating time is being required. Then the prosecution of the particular, if particular case is being there, person found the guilty and other, then the person who is guilty, that is to be prosecuted, and the fines is to be loss of the contract and damage to the reputation. Many things, legal cost and which are the indirect cost as far as the industrial impact is concerned. If we consider which factor is making that industry into the disaster, the scale of that particular cost is also one of the important parameter, which is being helping for deciding the level of that incidence, whether that is accident, hazard, or disasters. The cost of the workplace accident can be vast, and in the different country, the different level is being there. If we see the certain examples from the UK and Europe, the how much loss is being there. In UK, 7,500 per the fatal injury time. In one industry, how much time the money has been required to recover that the workers in the workplace. Likewise, their data can be produced, and to determine the level of intensity of the impact this cost spent for the recovery of the workers due to the injury and other, that become one of the important parameter. Now, if such incidences is being there, then we should have to have the promote the measures for prevention of these kinds of the incidents and accidents in the industry. For the prevention of the accident at the workplace, that is in the industry, one has to follow the simple rules, and these particular rules, which can, if they follow, the persons or workers follow the rules, simple rules which is adopted in the industry, then they can avoid the industry. The work in the steady manner, work required the personal protective equipment. The workers, they have to wear the personal protective equipment during the working, so they can avoid, follow the instruction meticulously, follow the emergency instructions, and the proper training as far as operating in the industry concerned. Overall, in summary, to mitigate the accident at the workplace, one can have the significant impact over the business by following all these terms, conditions, and we can minimize the loss we can avoid the loss of reputation, we can minimize the loss of the health of worker and the production, etc. Many things is being there. As far as the health is very important, workplace and the ILO, International Labor Organizations, they are giving the attention to the workers' health, and the various rules and their safety measures for the different the health insurance and other part is being promoted as a part of this for the prevention of through the prevention of the incidents, accidents. If any accident is being there, victimized is being given compensation through the Liability Insurance Act, which is a special as far as India is concerned, this particular act which is being passed, and this particular which is helping. As far as the iceberg effect is concerned, this particular, there were many, as far as the expert is concerned, as far as direct cost is concerned, indirect cost of the any industrial accidents are the larger one. And if we have to mitigate this indirect cost, which is called iceberg effect as far as the industry is concerned, and which is avoiding the loss of production time, which is increasing the time of production, creating the damage to the workplace or environment, etc., that can be avoided. All the secondary impact which can be preventing by preventing the accident in the industry, specifically the workplace, by keeping the free, fair workplace or the good workplace, accident-free workplace can bring this. The workers, they can wear the personal protective equipment, holding the proper training for the work, accident-free, the work environment, and protection to the proximity for making the alert systems and other. If there is any early warning system, alert systems which is to be created, and effort is to be applied to protect the workers' health and other overall the accident-free environment in the workplace. So accident in the workplace in one solution, then in the industry, preparation of the safe zone, then innovative ideas which is to be identified for the detection of the technology which can cope with that particular impact, or the innovative ideas can be employed, and the hazardous aspect which is being mitigated from their workplace. There were good number of the major safety measures are being there, and injuries, damage in the workers can be mitigated. And industrial mechanisms are designed to cut, bend, break, crush, burn, melt, weld, dig through or shape, giving the shape through the natural man-made materials on the planet in any way necessary for devastating or for the mitigation of this particular, or to avoid the horrifying impact of the any industrial disasters and other. These could be the follow and the good mechanical systems and the production system can follow and keep the free environment from the any accident. Unfortunately, no imagination is necessary, because hundreds and thousands of the workers get injured every year worldwide, and industrial accidents are taken place not only in the India but in the developed part, in UA, US, Europe, developed part, and good number of the workers are continuously injuring. But though these things are being there, following the good measures, we can mitigate this. But still, the fact is that these industrial accidents are being also there. And to avoid the consequence impact of these industrial accidents, and for understanding the seriousness of all these industrial accidents, then effort is to be applied, and the measures is to be employed for the mitigation of the impact. The loss of limbs and others, the organ loss and other incidents might be there. And these particular, many time workers get affected, burns and other incidences is being there. But generally, When workers are working in the industry, they are losing their limbs, hands, or other organs, body organs, and the workers are managed to survive. And such catastrophic injuries and other, the lift without ability to work and other, then the implementation of the measures for reduction of their loss of these organs, etc., is to be employed. Whereas when in industry the workers are suffering from the burns and other, then serious burn injury are always devastating in any kind of the industrial accidents or in the fatality rate in the industrial accidents. Therefore, industrial workers can get this particular relief by proper treatments or other to avoid the consequence impact to that one, to employ the safety measure for the avoiding this painful impact like burning and other cases, horrifying exposing to the body or disabilities to the workers and other. They can, therefore, if these kinds of the disability is being there, worker may leave there that industry and other to, so to avoid these kinds of leaving the horrible the impacts or losing the organs or other burning, etc. Maintenance of this particular workers' health and other with the safety measure is important. Many times, apart from this impact, death is the result. And to generally the big incidents, big accidents which may result into the death into the workplace, what the workers or the person who is coming in contact with that workplace in the industry, many times they may suffer because of that incident's death. And industrial accident may result into the death. And to minimize this particular death, the burns or other kinds of the incidents, the proper managerial the process or steps is to be followed. Then to mitigation, what are the consequences? First, we must know what are the consequences of such industrial and chemical accidents. I think in my presentation, I would like to describe the important Bhopal gas tragedy as far as this, how the consequence impact which is being resulted. In the second subsequent lecture, I'm going to discuss with that one. Now, what is the time now? Now, as I think we will take the break for some minute. Hello, participants. Regarding the industrial accidents we have discussed now, we will take the break for some minute because I think it is more than now it is, we have started at 3. Now it is 4. Okay. We will take the break of that one sometime. Okay. Hello, participants. Hello. Yes, someone is active.
तर पार्टिसिपेंटला म्यूट केलेलं आहे सर.
Okay. Now,
की जेव्हा कोणी क्वेश्चनरी राहील
थोडं
असेल
मी
तेव्हा
आता
त्यांना unmute.
मधलं जे आहे, मधला ब्रेक घ्यायला थोडं सोडतो. 1.5 तासापेक्षा जास्त झालं, 1.25 तास झालेले आहेत. मी थोडा ब्रेक घेतो आणि पुन्हा थोडं तोपर्यंत चालू करा तोपर्यंत.
10 मिनिटं ब्रेक घ्या सर.
हो, घेतो ना. Dear participant, now we will take the break for 4 to 5 minutes at least. Okay. कुणाच तरी माईक म्यूट करा तोपर्यंत. अनम्यूट. ओके, काय हरकत नाही. Hello. Now welcome. I welcome for this the second session after the few minutes break. I would like to continue with this. We have discussed there are the consequence impact of the accident, etc. In the accident, there are various kinds of the accident in which, if suppose the industry, chemical industry, there might be good number of the emission of the chemicals is being there. As far as the example is concerned, I'm going to discuss the Bhopal gas tragedies as a one example for that one. Regarding the recommendation for the minimization of impact of these kinds of the industrial accidents happening or disasters when it is happening in the industry, then ILO, that is International Labour Organizations, they have given the certain recommendations for the prevention of the adverse impact over the or to mitigate the industrial accidents. ILO has given the certain recommendations, and in that recommendation, the hazardous material is to be identified. Then any facility for the hazardous material which is there is or not, that is to be checked. Then inventory is to be carried out over the major the hazardous substance where it is being handled, or workplace and their hazards is to be identified. Each state should maintain a comprehensive inventory over these kinds of the hazardous substance and their workplace. Likewise, they have to collect the accurate data, appropriate data for tackling the issue of the industries and their hazard related to that one. Likewise, regulatory system should be there for tackling the issues related to that, and specifically in the industry and their hazard related, chemical industry and their hazard associated, these particular to which when any disaster is being taken place in the chemical industries, then these disasters which is to be minimized by assessing the risk in the scientific study. Risk assessment, which is very, very important. And as far as this particular international, the framework is being, as far as legal framework is being provided by the various countries, and it has been given the directive to the industrial organizations or industries, their owners and other, to assess the risk of their hazardous substance in their particular industry. United Nations on its convention on transboundary effects on industrial accident, this particular was passed by the United Nations, in which this legal framework has been provided for tackling the issues of the chemical hazards industry. As far as United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, they have also given the directive principles and other for the prevention of accident and for keeping the preparedness. This particular UNEP's, the document was published in 2000 through the OCED. The programs for the chemical accident was given in the 1990, specifically for preventing the accident through the sharing the information. Now, what kind of the information? If any particular incident is being there, I would like to share my own my unknown example. In one of the junior college, teacher is being there. We always, no, this is my, actually I am explaining the example from the junior college laboratory. Teachers know the certain chemicals and their use. What is happening, he is suffering from the respiratory disorder, some cold problem was there, and he know the ammonia, he take the drop of the ammonia and handkerchief and he get the smell and nasal cavity get clear. But what happens, that teachers, during the opening of that bottle, that concentrated ammonia was bounced and his eyes has been lost. And in this condition, when teacher is exposed, his eyes were exposed to the concentrated ammonia, what to do immediately person know. Here the statistics, this OCED, the data means when any chemicals is being manufactured or any hazardous chemical substance, if there is any accident, incidents is being there, what to do for that immediately to mitigate the impact. This particular legal framework has been given by at the international level in the 1990 by United Nations UNEP. and chemicals data is being available. Immediately flush the water, first aid, safety measures, and other these kinds of the things which is being promoted through the data. As far as India is concerned, we know in the year we have suffered from this Bhopal gas tragedy. This particular the special act, the processing of claims act was passed in the year 95, where this and especially in the next year the wide environmental protection act, which was the amendment earlier before in India, environmental protection act, specifically the water and prevention act, air prevention act was there, wildlife protection act, the separate individual acts were there. But when this in the 84 this incident was there, Bhopal gas tragedy was there in India, then there was no legal measures to tackle these particular issues for the effect, coping this particular adverse impact. Then this Bhopal Gas Leakage Processing of Claims Act was passed in year. And because though their Air Prevention Act was there, Water Prevention and Pollution Water Act was there, the Wildlife Protection Acts were there, but this much comprehensive legal provisions were made in the Environmental Protection Act of 1986, that is Environmental Protection Act was passed in the year 86, and we have got the legal tool to tackle these kinds of the issues. Then after these particular issues, when compensation is to be requested, who has to give the money, whether industrialist has to spend the money to treat the workers after the injury, and then to tackle this particular insurance act. From before that, insurance company, they are working, but Public Liability Insurance Act, which was passed in the 1991, and this was mandatory. It was make the mandatory to draw the insurance of every industrial workers, and when such workers is being suffered from any hazardous substance or exposing any injury, etc., through this particular Public Liability Insurance Act, they can get. And the money, the industrialist and work from the worker salary, some section is to be paid through the insurance, and the some section from the owner is to be paid, and the compensation for treating these particular victims. This Public Liability Insurance Act, there were many kinds of this National Environmental Appellant Authority Act, which was passed in the 1997. Specifically, the hazardous waste management, handling and transporting rules were given in the year 1989, where in that particular accident risk calibrations, all these things which is being notified and mentioned. And this particular India, after exposing, I think you all are aware about that. In India, Killari Bhukamp was there, earthquake was there, and which was followed by Gujarat Bhukamp, that Bhuj incident was there. And after experiencing our central government in New Delhi, they have promoted a National Disaster Management Authority, and in New Delhi, National Institute of Disaster Management, which was established under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Actually, this National Disaster Management Authority, which is being created, and specifically for the industries, their management, involvement of the management and authorities, decision checkers and other from that particular authority was being created. Earlier provisions which were there for the protection of the workers and the health, etc., in the Factory Act, which was passed in the 1948, immediately after the independence, that act was there. Those were amended, and the provisions were made for the protection. Specifically in this particular sector, accident and incidents, hazards and other, the robust the framework, regulatory framework was recommended by the International Labour Organizations, and comprehensive national framework for the safety of the workers in the workplace, which is being there, and they have been given their recommendation, because to the industries and the World Bank and other, they are funding, and they have given the conditions, even during the funding, the banks, World Bank, they are also suggesting the conditions and keeping the safe and free work conditions in the industries, which is being recommended. Likewise, the various authorities, strengthening of the monitoring and enforcement, this particular, which was the IIM, Indian Institute of this Metrology, Ahmedabad, this particular, they are working in this Indian industrial accidents. They have worked over this particular and given the recommendation for the personal protection, etc. Building chemical risk database, that is one of the important part as far as the chemical disaster is concerned. These kinds of the database is being supported by OECD, global harmonized systems, which is being designed for the classification of the particular systems. Was as far as the protection is being the national safety, and this National Safety Council of India, NSCI, which was established, and the various section UNEP, the environmental under the regulatory acts and other, the various safety measures is being promoted and employed in India as well as through the worldwide. Specifically the occupational workers' health, occupational health and working conditions codes, which is being the pass, which is promoting the accident-free environment in the industry, employer and employee duties regarding the safety measures of the workers in the industry, which were finalized, sector-specific safety standards which were adopted, and the employees' well-being is being the concentrated, their work hours, working conditions, etc., which is being strictly monitored, and accordingly they have been given time, holidays, work off period, etc. The contractual worker rights, which is being nowadays, what is happening, every company for protection of their they are appointing the daily wages or contractual workers, and the many companies, they are excusing themselves to pay the money for compensation of the victims of these contractual workers. But later on, in the regulatory provisions, their workers and victims, which are being also collected. The many aspects which is being promoted as far as the mitigational measures of the industrial disasters and hazards is concerned. In this particular, specifically the effort for identification and assessment of the hazard, and this is being carried out through the risk assessment. Any particular workplace and its risk assessment, equipment maintenance, the employee safety, proper signature, all these particular personal use, whether the workers, they are using the personal protective measures, any emergency response plan is being there. Likewise, the things which is being promoted, incidents reporting analysis mechanism is being there, process for the safety management, PSM, which is being promoted, environmental protection measures, which is being the compliance for there is being promoted. And in any systems, if any fault is being there, that is being replaced and repaired. Continuous improvement in these particular systems is being, and as far as this particular accident and to avoid the accident, culture for safety is to be flourished. Priority is to be given for the high risk areas, and compliance for the any regulations, if any legal regulations are there, rules, regulations is being there. Industry has to be done the compliance for that one, and every time the industries, they have to communicate to the authority and promoted the safety as far as the industries and their accident is concerned, and every industry has to create a separate safety plan for this particular, and accordingly the clear understanding about the plan with the roadmap of that particular plank and workplace, whether that particular map is working accordingly or not, that is to be checked. And finally, the work environment in the industry is to be kept accident free. Likewise, the things is being, and ensure for the personal the protection or employees which is being protected in that particular industries. As far as the data for that one, use of the personal protective equipment, incidents, risk analysis, the data is required for the risk analysis, and everything which is being measured. For example, what are the common causes of industrial accidents, then whether the human errors is being there, or mechanical failure, or unsafe working condition, insufficient training, chemical hazard, electric hazard, fatigue, or which component which is being their database regarding these things, which is being promoting, and how investigation in the industrial, how these particular helping in the investigating the industrial accidents, which is being monitored and looked by the particular industries, where employees and employers through their organizations, they have the mechanism for tackling these issues. And for them, for both the section, tips has been given for the good workplace safe. From that one, these important tips to increase the productivity, to minimize the accident, to protect the workers, or to give the workers claim, if someone workers is being affected, then their claim, or reduce absenteeism, or the fatality, etc. Many kinds of the systems and their assessment, which is being carried out, specifically the hazardous materials and the unsafe work condition in the industry is being monitored, and accordingly the systems is being promoted through the people. And other particular, what other requirement which is being there for the safe work environment in the industry, for mitigation of the hazard, which is being provided, and these hazards which is being assessed in terms of the risk assessment, whether the risk assessment which is being carried out and rigid, the data for the particular recommendation is being given for maintaining the free environment from the accident, and to install the particular, if improper light is responsible, then to install the light, focus on the cleanliness, install the light, inspect the vehicles and machinery at the time to time, balancing routing and replacing the damaged part. Then mindful, the peaceful environment workplace, ensure the person's the workers, and they take the feedback from the all the section of the workers which are important. And this particular, by employing the various kinds of the accidental analysis data, what this particular accident data which is being analyzed and which is being used for drawing the conclusions or identification of the steps in the accidents, or to determine how it is being investigated, which things, what kind of the measure is to be investigated, which parameter is to be measured, monitor, everything is being mentioned as far as the preparation of the accident prevention plan is concerned. And regarding the hazardous substance, keeping of the appropriate data, then the record keeping of that one, giving the training about that, record about training of the peoples, then inspection, audit report, everything which is being required for the mitigation of the risk measures and other workplace, what needed is being there, that is being followed. And all these strategies which is being adopted in the industries for the mitigation of the impact of the due to the industrial accidents, etc. Many times the impacts and other which is being considered, and accordingly this, but the overall, this particular risk assessment, after the calculating of the risk assessment of the any particular industry and their activities, then these particular plans, proper the steps for is being implemented as far as risk assessment is concerned, which is a technical part as far as environment is concerned, environmental assessment is concerned. There are the certain steps. First step is identify the hazard, then analyze the risk, evaluate the risk, and give the priority to the risk, and record the findings and interpret it under the risk assessment. And this particular risk, various kinds of the risk, generic risk, dynamic risk, quantitative and qualitative risk, which is being assessed, and these different methods for qualitative, dynamic, and quantitative risk in the particular industry, accordingly appropriate methodology is being there, which is being employed. And these particular, to protect the organization interest and to transform the workplace, the safe as far as work is concerned, this particular risk assessment data is being utilized. these particulars in the risk assessment, safety area is being identified, hazardous source were identified, generation of accident and results, they released a scenario which can be identified, vulnerability of the accident prone regions, which is being also studied during the risk assessment, and what the estimations about this particular damage and other which is being carried out for the operation, HAZOP operation, as far as hazardous and operability of the substance, generally called HAZOP operations, hazardous substance operations, and accordingly the guidelines which is being formulated, and we in the risk assessment, all these steps which is being finalized and risk assessment is being carried out for this, and which is being very important component as far as the any natural hazards is concerned, because intensity of the risk and all these which is being assessed on this risk assessment, which is including the various aspect, hazards, hazard identification, risk, probability, severity, and the generation of risk and hazard control measures, everything is being assessed in the risk assessment. And this particular risk assessment, why it is important? Because we have to provide the protection to the industry workers and other in the workplace, and zero accident free environment is the goal, or safe workplace is the important goal of the risk assessment, and which for the continuous production, economic growth, what the importance of that industry which is being there. And in the risk assessment, what to do at what time, their sequence, if any hazardous substance is being there, then where, how to operate, how to work out with that one, and if any specific environmental degradation is being there, then to recommend which environmental part is to be restored, how much manner, how it is being protecting, all these things, routine and the non-routine task is being decided by this risk assessment method. And overall, after calculating the risk, this particular risk assessment is being done by following the procedure, and when this assessment is being carried out, then accounting of each and every aspect which is being carried out in the machine, about the machinery, tools, life cycle, or education, training, everything component of that industry workplace which is being carried out, worked out, and this hazardous the substance and their inquiry which is being carried out, and after calculating the risk, these hazards are found, and then this particular, when any hazard is being found there, how it is to be operated, all these steps which is being recommending, which is giving the measures for the mitigation of the any disasters or other. So this such risk, which is risk assessment, which is very important. This table, which is, when risk is being assessed, then very low risk, medium risk, low risk, high risk, immediate danger is being there. Likewise, this particular categorization is being there, and industrial to protect this particular, this risk assessment is being carried out. Now, the risk assessment, which is a very important part as far as industrial accident is concerned. Now, as I have mentioned that in my second part, I am going to discuss the industrial disasters. If we consider the industry and industrial disasters, which is when any accident is being there and when large number of the peoples are victimized, much damage is being there, then we call it as a disaster. And industrial, this technology, industrial accidents, dangers, procedures, instruction failure, or human activities which may cause this particular life or injury to the property damage, social and economic, this particular. If we consider there are the certain major industrial disasters during the 6054 Delft gunpowder explosion, Delft, this particular in the Netherlands in 6054. This particular gunpowder explosion was there in the 6054. July 14, 1847, the gun cotton explosion was there, and this particular was from the United Kingdom. And this, in the first incidents, how many people? More than 100 people were killed in 1654 in the Delft gunpowder explosion in the Netherlands. In the 1847 in the United Kingdom, the during the manufacturing of the gun cotton, this particular explosion was there and many people were victimized. In the September 17 in 1862, Allegiance Arsenal explosion was there, Lawrence Villa in the Pennsylvania in United States, that has killed 78 workers and large civilians were affected during the Civil War in USA. In June 17 June 1864, the Washington Arsenal explosion in the Washington DC. After the explosion, the many peoples, killing 21 women and injured many others peoples were killed from the America. In 1865, the magazine explosion, Mobile, Alabama, which was killing the 300 and causing over the damage to the $7,20,000 loss, property damage during the 1865. August 1871, Stormwork. These particular April, all these European incidents is being there. The Halifax explosion, Canada. This was killing about the 2,000 people and 9,000 injured. Killed 2,000 people and injured 9,000 in the Canada in 1970, 1917. Halifax explosion in Canada. In National Shell Filling Factory, Chivli, 134 workers were killed and 250 were injured. Nottingham, UK. In 1980. In October 1980, Gillespie Company's Shell loading plant explosion was there, which has collapsed, destroyed 300 buildings and $18 million damage was there in 1980. In July 26, Arsenal, New Jersey, the 6 lakh pounds explosives were detonated and results 187 of 200 buildings were damaged, were destroyed by this, and $1 billion damage was there in the 1926. In Bombay dock, in April 1944, Bombay dock, Bombay dock explosion, British fighter SS Fort was carrying the 1,400 tons of explosive and 240 tons of weapons. This particular explosion have killed the 800 to 1,300 people in Mumbai during 1944. The disaster in Chicago, many 320 people were killed in 1944. As far as April 96, the cartridge factory explosion was there in the Finland, kills the 40 workers. In 83, the ammunition factory which was exploded, this particular major incident is being there. The naval base explosion, Floricans naval base explosion was there in the Cyprus in 2011. As far as Bhopal gas tragedy is concerned in 1986, now I am going to describe over the Bhopal gas tragedy which has taken in the 1990. This particular, as far as disaster is concerned, which are of the two types: natural disaster, generally the earthquake, storms, flooding and other, and man-made, generally the industrial and other, which is being the man-made one. I skip this natural and man-made because someone is going to describe this particular in detail. What are the biological disaster? The natural disaster: landslide, volcanic eruption, cyclones, earthquakes. These natural disasters. Man-made disasters, pollution disasters, for example, chemical use of the chemical weapon, biological weapons, biological warfares, or industrial disaster. Man-made disaster, in which industrial disaster, as far as India is concerned, Bhopal gas tragedy, which is due to the chemical and hazardous substance which is taken place, and that is very important, the incidents as far as as far as other disaster is concerned, man-made disaster, in which the Iraq war, terrorism, then oil spillage, floods, all these were the man-made. Flood is man-made also. This particular, the hazard, vulnerability, which is responsible for the disaster condition and which is leading into the hazard. The hazard which trigger the events and the disaster is being resulted, and vulnerability factor which is intensifying their impacts and other these things. So hazard and hazard may be defined as a dangerous conditions over the event that threats or have the potential to causing the injury to the life or property or to the environment. This word hazard, once it is origin to the hazard is Old French and has, that is an Arabic, the meaning, the chance or luck. And this particular natural hazards by the nature, geological hazard in which meteorological hazard, geological hazard in which earthquakes, storms, tsunami, etc. And man-made hazards, mostly the industrial hazards, man-made hazards, which is related to the industry operations and other particular. If we consider now these particular hazards and other which is creating the problems, specifically I would like to describe one as a case study in the Bhopal gas tragedy. What happens in the Sunday night of the 2nd December 1984? This Bhopal gas tragedy, who has killed the large number of the people. What is the Bhopal gas tragedy? The Bhopal gas tragedy, commonly referred as Bhopal disaster, was a gas leakage in India, considered one of the world's industrial catastrophic events, or that hazard disasters. And it has occurred in the night of the 2nd and 3rd December 1984 at the Union Carbide India Limited pesticide plant, which was established in the Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. And the poisonous gas, methyl isocyanate, MIC gas, which was leaked from this particular plant and which has resulted the exposure of the thousands of the peoples to this particular Bhopal gas tragedy. What is the background of UNCL? This Union Carbide India Limited, this UCIL, the Union Carbide India Limited. UCL built in the 1969, which was the subsidiary of Union Carbide Company, UCC, with Indian government. Now the partnership is the earlier during the 1960s and other major works and industries. After the Manmohan Singh regime in India, this liberalizations, private companies and other. Before that one government. And the ownership is being toward the government. And as per those existing rules, the Union Carbide having the share less than that of the 50%. 51% is shared with the UCIL, that Union Carbide India Limited, and UCC having 49%, and thus ownership with the India. And this Indian government company, banks and other Indian public holdings, these stakes more than this one. And in 1994, the Supreme Court of India, all the UCC to sell 50.9 share to Union Carbide, and UCCL Bhopal plant operated after this particular industrial limited in 1994. The Bhopal plant was later and sold to the Macon Russell India Limited, now Dow Chemicals Company, purchased that UCCC in 2001. Regarding this particular company status, now it is Dow Chemicals Company has purchased that after the 2001. That is the plant which is working with the Dow company now. What was the major production in the plant? Bhopal gas tragedy, in the Bhopal plant, the pesticide name Sevin, commercial name Sevin, that is a production of that pesticides, that that particular pesticide UNCL factory was built to produce the pesticide name Sevin, that is UCC's brand, that carbaryl group pesticide, that pesticide chlorinated hydrocarbons then organophosphorus, then carbaryl group, carbamate group. Likewise, carbaryl group, this pesticide, the commercial name Sevin, which was prepared by using the poisonous gas methyl isocyanate, that has a indicator, and in this methyl isocyanate that is reacted, and the carbaryl, that Sevin pesticide, which is being manufactured. This particular pesticide, which was manufacturing in this, and during this night of 2 and 3rd December, water entered into the tank number E16010 containing about 42 metric tons of the methyl isocyanate. And when this particular methyl isocyanate come in contact with that of the water, which is a exothermic reaction, heat is increasing, and the pressure of that particular tank was increasing, E610. The resulting, this particular water coming in contact with that of the methyl isocyanate, that is creating the exothermic reaction. I think when you are taking the acid and pouring the acid in water, that water get warm because the exothermic reaction. Likewise, this methyl isocyanate, when come in contact with that water, which is temperature is being increasing because of the exothermic reactions, and whose temperature inside that particular tank was reached to 200 degrees centigrade, that is 392 degree Fahrenheit. And this has raised the pressure in the tank number E610. About 30 metric tons of methyl isocyanate escaped from the tank into the atmosphere because of that excessive pressure. Out of 42 metric ton methyl isocyanate, 30 metric tons of this methyl isocyanate, which was escaped from the tank and came into the atmosphere of the Bhopal, which having the 45 to 60 minute, within 45 to 60 minute. This particular, what happens, which is, this is the actual photograph, that tank and other where this is being emitted, the factory leading to the gas leakage. This from this particular tank, after the increasing gas was emitted and this leakage, and before that particular the rain shower like system is being there, if gas is being there which dissolved in the water and its emission in the surrounding environment, what the systems which is not working and that gas is being emitted and from that large tank, and this particular, if we consider there are the good number of the flaws and in that particular operation in the Bhopal gas tragedy. In that plant, poor maintenance was there, failure of the several safety systems. The systems which have constructed there, they are not working properly, because industrialists and other, what they say, that is additional expenditure to their industries. They have not proper systematically, and those systems were not properly worked in that particular, and safety systems being switched off to money, including the MIC tank refrigerator systems, which could have mitigated the severity. If that cooling systems, which is being triggered in that one, air conditioner systems and other, but to switch it off, because to save the electricity to operate that machineries and other, that cooling systems was switched off, which was not operating. Otherwise, that incidence was not there. Plant location, if we consider the intensity of the impact of these Bhopal gas tragedies and other, what is there, that plant was located around the city, large number of the peoples which are living. Plant location was close, very close vicinity of the densely populated area. And this particular undersized the safety device, this particular in this, the safety measures and other which was not working properly. Then there were so many the flaws which is being there. Plant management, the deficiency were also there, identified, lack of the skilled operators, the person who are working in that, they are lacking the skill in that operating such hazardous substance, reduction of the safety management. the no safety measures were followed, insufficient maintenance was there, inadequate emergency action plan were there. No, everything was failure, and use of more dangerous pesticide manufacturing method, root method, which was followed, for which this MIC gas, which was acting as a raw material, and that is combined in the different manufacturing order for the production of the phosgene. Phosgene is also poisonous gas, and phosgene gas is being first reacted with the naphthol to form the chloroformate ester, and then this particular reacted with these amines. All the materials, raw material, which is deadly poisonous. 1 minute, please. 1 minute. हॅलो. हा, माझं लेक्चरचं मी 5 मिनिटात संपलेक सांगतो. Sorry for the interruption. I could not stop because important message is to be received. Okay, this particular, so many things, flaws were there, and routine this deadly poisonous. And in the early 90s, demands of this pesticide was increasing for the agriculture production and other for the pest control. And this particular plant, which was established, when from that particular plant, methyl isocyanate, when gas is being emitted, which is reacting with the water, and MMA, which is also a poisonous compound and resulting into the carbon dioxide, that is also reacting with the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, NOx, all these poisonous gases, which in the cloud, the poisons which is being the forming. And from this particular plant, safety measures, you could see this particular, what the safety measures, showers and other which is being constructed, that which were not working, no water was there, and the pollutant gas, poisonous gas, which were emitted. After the discovery, after the invention, that particular expert from that, they have found out that these particular, the cooling system, showers and other which is not there, no work, gas, the scrubbers, water scrubbers and other gas vent scrubbers, stacks and other, no water was there, no, there were so many checklists which is being prepared, and it is indicating in that industry premises dumping, as I have mentioned, that industry, the proper housekeeping is being there, dumping of the poisonous material, hazardous substance, like anything, everywhere this poisonous and hazardous, these photographs and picture indicating the devastating situation and scenario in the Bhopal gas tragedies. If we consider this, the official immediate death of the, if after this particular, how many people were 2,250 people, according to the government of Madhya Pradesh, were died. The Madhya Pradesh 3,788 deaths were released in the second death. And other, it is according to them, it is 8,000 were died within the 2 weeks, and another 8,000 or more have been since died after that one, after that week. More than 15,000 people were victimized within the 2 weeks, and government affidavit in the 2006 standard in the court, 5,58,125 people were having the injuries, including the many of them having the temporary, partial, and approximately severely and permanently disabilities injuries. The more than 2,000 animals were died in that one, at that particular picture. If you see the peoples and their death, which is being there during the night time, these particular animals which were dead on the roads and other severe disasters. I think this, you could see the animal died, more than 2,000 animal in the periphery of that particular, many peoples, 8,000 peoples were victimized, and there were good number of the health impacts over the people, and having the short terms and immediate impact and long term impact because of the exposure to the phosgene, hydrogen cyanide, carbon monoxide, hydrogen chloride, oxides of nitrogen, monomethylene amine, MMA, monomethylene amine, carbon dioxides and other gases and other explosions, which could having these eye irritations, explosions, coughing and other problems which is being there. And this particular Bhopal gas tragedies, when the people, they are claiming the compensation, what American says, that I think that was the different story, if we could for the compensation, because government having, the India government is having the ownership of that one. They say that ours is on the humanitarian ground, we are giving giving the compensation to that one. Actually, it is a very, very catastrophic event which is India is being exposing because of this particular. Many peoples were victimized. Many of the people, they have lost their lives, young babies and other which were suffering. Good number of the peoples, more than 1 lakh to 2 lakh peoples were permanent injured, reported of the symptoms and eye problems, respiratory disorders. Very Union Carbide company denied these per injuries and other particular, many of the people's disabilities and other which is being resulted, and many generations these peoples are going to suffer from this particular leakage. As how the disaster is being there, impact of that particular medical staff improper, the no doctors and hospitals were not informed proper for the treatment of this particular poisonous gas. They don't know how to treat this eye drops, and the patients, the gases immediately causes the visible death to their trees and other many incidents. People's, just like the COVID, the doctors don't know how to treat. Likewise, this poisonous gas, how to treat the patient, how when suffering from the eyes and other. This very devastating situation was there in India because of this Bhopal gas tragedy. And after the formal statement, it is issued that air pollutants and the people, that toxins, 36 wards of the people's, more than 5,20,000 gas affected animals and other. Many times it is being said that chickens or the birds which are safe, but later on it is recommended not to consume that one. The very stories, peoples and other, the many from 2 lakhs peoples were suffered from that. More than 3,000 pregnant women and other which were suffered. The young babies were suffering from the abnormalities, mental disorders, many other kinds of the problems is being there. In the US court, when people are claiming that one, this is that the ownership is with the India government, and on the humanitarian ground, they have been given some dollars and other. I think that was the different story. Economic rehabilitation and other, hardly 200 rupees per month was given by the Madhya Pradesh government to the widows of the peoples and other. Now that has been increased. But actually, many millions of the peoples were victims, but no compensation is being there, proper compensation in this particular. Now, US has provided the humanitarian ground, not as a compensation. Even in the Supreme Court of the USA, this case was found, because in India, according to the Indian legal, 51% is having ownership, and UCCI, Union Carbide of India Limited, UCIL, this particular having the ownership, and this particular healthcare facilities and other health problem which is being there. Hospitals were also not there. For the 1,000 people, 1 bed is being recommended for that one, but that is also not sufficient. Many things which is being there. Habitation and rehabilitation was the major problem, which the people's victims were not rehabilitated properly. And this particular Bhopal Memorial Hospitals and other research, they are performing the surgeries and other on the people, but till the many generation is being suffering. Many states have provided the financial assistance to the Madhya Pradesh government, central governments and other, but these things which is being happening, and the industrial disaster. I think I tried to sum up with this particular one of the catastrophic events where peoples were victimized, and animals and other many people. Since after the 30 year also, the peoples are suffering from that one. Now, I think the topic is open for the discussion. What the 2 session I tried to give my presentation. Now the question is being requesting from the audience. Now you open your mic and
यस पार्टिसिपेंट, आपका माइक अनम्यूट किया है, आप बोल सकते हैं. एनी क्वेश्चन पार्टिसिपेंट? मुळे सर, तुमचा माइक अनम्यूट करा सर प्लीज. तुमचा माइक अनम्यूट करा सर.
yes, if any problem is being there, someone can ask the question.
Good evening, sir. It's
Yes,
roll number 19.
yes, sir.
Your lecture is very fruitful, sir, about the disaster management.
Yes.
But this is my basic question. Is it possible to control the industrial accident whether industrialists and employees are not aware about the mechanism of production? Because employees are not expending much money about the organized sector. It is
Yes.
true that industrialists are making much expense on the organized sector, but what about the unorganized sector's worker?
That's why it is the major problem. Now, big industries, they are giving the attention. As far as what I have given the list of ILO and other, they are concentrating everywhere. There should be awareness about. If there is any incidents, the accident or in happen, mishap accidents, that is to be take the care, account is to be care, proper planning is being there. But it is unfortunate in a small unorganized sector, small sector, this particular part is neglected. No one is giving the attention. As far as industriality is concerned, it is an extra burden and they are neglecting that one. But legal
Is it?
bindings are being there. Well, as far as the act is concerned, that act is being there for giving the payment for through the taking their insurance, liability insurance acts and other. This is to be there for that one. But as your observation is quite correct, in unorganized sector, small scale sector, and even in some big industry, this particular in the Bhopal gas tragedy itself, the water showers and other, but air cooling system, cooling refrigerator system is being there. That was switch off to protect save the money of that electric bill. And when temperature is increasing, gas pressure is being increased more than 200. No one can control. To save the money,
Yes.
the accident was there. And workers, industrialists, they construct the ETP, they dummy structure. And when incidence is being there, no one is working. That was the major issues.
It's true, sir.
येस एनिवन तुमचं अगदी बरोबर ऑब्झर्वेशन आहे सर. पण ते तर नाही व्हायला पाहिजे म्हणून तर अवेअरनेस गरजेचं आहे.
कारण मी जिथं राहतो ना सर सांगलीमध्ये,
हा हा
तिथे वीट भट्टीचे बरेच कामगार वीट भट्ट्या भरपूर काम करत आहेत.
हो
ते माणसं एकतर प्रवाहात येत नाहीत एज्युकेशनच्या किंवा ट्रेनिंगच्या.
नाही ना ते तर आहे.
त्यांच्याकडे एम्प्लॉयर पण काही लक्ष देत नाही. हाच तर प्रॉब्लेम आहे त्यांचा.
मेजर इश्यू आहे सर. मेजर इश्यू.
होय सर, होय सर. Yes,
Yes,
thank you, sir.
anyone is interested to ask the question, I will try to give the answer to that one. Because many years I am teaching this particular hazards and other the risk assessment to my student.
Hello.
Sir, can I ask one question?
Yes, yes,
I am roll number 58.
yes.
I am assistant professor from SP College. Sir, one of the question regarding bakery workers. There is one incident few days ago in Pune. There is an means त्या ओनरनं लॉक केलं होतं आणि वरती शॉक सर्किटनं लोक गेले. अशा स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीसाठी काही प्रिव्हेन्शन्स आपण सजेस्ट करू शकतो का?
सजेशन म्हणजे कायद्यातच प्रोव्हिजन आहे. त्या ज्या कायद्याच्या ह्याच्यामध्ये सेल्फ ऑर्गनायझेशन, त्याच्या सेफ्टी मेजरचं जे कंडिशन आहे, जिथं वर्क प्लेस आहे तिथले ज्या सेफ्टी मेजरच्या ज्या आहेत, तिथले स्वच्छता आहे, त्याची हाऊसकीपिंग प्रॉपर असली पाहिजे, जाण्याचे रस्ते खुले असले पाहिजेत, हे प्रत्येकाला कंपल्सरी आहे. परंतु कारखानदार ते वापरत नसल्यामुळे त्यांची ती समस्या निर्माण होत आहे. ते न होण्यासाठी कायदेशीर पुरवण आहेत, परंतु आहेत प्रोव्हिजन्स आहेत, परंतु कारखानदार आणि वर्कर्स दोन्ही त्याच्याबद्दल अनभिज्ञ असल्यामुळं या समस्या उद्भवत आहेत.
त्याच्यासाठी काही क्रिटिकल इन्स्पेक्शन्स नाहीयेत का?
क्रिटिकल इन्स्पेक्शन्स ILOचे ऑफिसर्स वगैरे आता ज्या सेफ्टी मेजर त्यांच्या ऑर्गनायझेशन मध्ये जे असणारे सेफ्टीच्या संदर्भातलं सुपरवायझरचं, मी मगाशी इन्सिडेंट्स मध्ये सुपरवायझर बद्दल जे सांगितलेलं आहे, त्यांची ड्युटी जर त्यांनी वेळेत पार पाडली की मशिनरीमध्ये दुरुस्ती, तिथलं हाऊसकीपिंग बरोबर नाही, ते पडलेलं रस्त्याच्या कडेला पडलेलं आहे ते उचललं पाहिजे, त्याचं व्यवस्थित त्या ठिकाणी ठेवलं पाहिजे, तर त्यांनी रिस्क कमी होते. रिस्क मिनिमायझेशनच्या ज्या मेजर्स आहेत त्या घेणं गरजेचं आहे त्या ठिकाणी.
ओके, थँक्यू सर.
Hello.
Yes.
No, sir. I'm. It's time to propose the vote of thanks.
Okay, thanks. Ha.
Can I, sir?
Yes, you can.
If the questions is over, then I will propose the vote of thanks.
सर थांबा
Okay,
थांबा माझा
hello.
एक क्वेश्चन लास्ट. हॅलो एक
Okay, sir,
लास्ट
please,
क्वेश्चन.
please, sir, please go ahead.
सर फटाका इंडस्ट्री जी आहे सर, फटाका इंडस्ट्री
हो, येस.
किंवा जे काही स्मॉल स्केलवर फटाक्यामध्ये बरेचसे स्फोट वगैरे होतात, तिथं काही अवेअरनेस साठी काय आहे का सर?
त्या स्फोटकासाठी तर याच्यातले एक्सप्लोजिव्ह ऍक्ट मधल्या इतक्या स्ट्रिंजंट प्रोव्हिजन आहेत, त्यात उत्पादक त्यांचे प्रोव्हिजन फॉलोअप करत नाहीत, हे कॉमन ऑब्झर्वेशन आहे. जसं आताशी मॅडमने त्या पुण्याला त्या स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये त्या फायर सेफ्टीच्या संदर्भात सांगितलं. फटाका उत्पादनाच्या बाबतीत एक्सप्लोजिव्ह ऍक्ट आणि त्याच्या ह्याच्यामध्ये त्याच्या हँडलिंगसाठीच्या ज्या रूल्स आहेत, त्याच्या जे पर्सनल प्रोटेक्टिव्ह सेफ्टी मेजर्स त्याच्या असणारे त्या ज्या न फॉलोअप केल्यामुळंच हे इन्सिडेंट्स होत आहेत. तर त्याच्यासाठी त्यांच्या ज्या ऑर्गनायझेशन मधले सुपरवायझर आणि त्यांची जी ड्युटीज आहेत ते जर स्ट्रिक्ट केलं तर त्याचे इन्सिडेंट्स कमी होतात. पण इट इज अनफॉर्च्युनेट, आपल्या इकडं तर मी उस्मानाबादचं, माझं नेटिव्ह प्लेस उस्मानाबादच्या जवळ आणि त्या ह्याच्या जवळची वाशीच्या जवळचं जे गाव आहे
हो सर, माझे नेटिव्ह प्लेस तिथंच आहे, म्हणूनच विचारलं. मी
तेरखेडाचे
तिथलाच आहे.
तिथले जे आहे त्याच्या ह्याच्यामधलं बघण्यात येतं मला, ते जाण्यात म्हणजे फटाक्याच्या ह्याच्यामध्ये डोळ्याखालून
तर आमच्याकडे तिथे तेरखेड्याला बरेचसे आतापर्यंत 3-4 इन्सिडेंट झालेत, पण
हो,
ते काही
झालेले
कमी
आहेत.
होतच नाही म्हणून.
त्या तेरखेड्याच्या ह्याच्यामध्ये जे पेटंट देणारे जे सायंटिस्ट ज्यांचे बेंगलोरला आहेत आणि ते NCL मध्ये काम करणारे ते आमचे चांगले मित्र आहेत, त्याच्यामुळे आम्ही त्याच्या संदर्भात चर्चा होते. त्या ठिकाणी फॉलोअप केले जात नाहीत. त्याचे जे स्टँडर्ड हॅझॉप ऑपरेशन जे म्हणतात, हॅझार्डस सबस्टन्स ऑपरेशनसाठी जे नॉर्मल रूल्स रेग्युलेशन, हॅझार्डस सबस्टन्स हँडलिंग रूलचे त्यातले प्रोव्हिजन्स आहेत, त्या एक्सप्लोजिव्ह ऍक्ट मधले प्रोव्हिजन्स आहेत, याचा फॉलोअप न घेतल्यामुळे त्या समस्या निर्माण होत आहेत. याची मला पुरेपूर कल्पना आहे. मला त्या वाशीच्या जवळचं जे आहे ना ते तिथलं ते माहित आहे, मला कल्पना आहे त्याची. परंतु त्यांनी त्या प्रोडक्शन मधल्या मालकांनी त्याच्यात त्यांची काळजी घेणं गरजेचं आहे त्यातलं. आणि तिथं काम करणाऱ्या सुपरवायझरनी ते कामगार काम करत असताना त्याचे हॅझॉप प्रोसिजर बरोबर फॉलोअप करतात का, पर्सनल प्रोटेक्टिव्ह इक्विपमेंट वापरलेत का, ते सेफ्टी मेजर फॉलोअप केलेत का, याचं मॉनिटरिंग तिथं व्हायला पाहिजे, म्हणजेच हे कमी होतात नंतर.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your explanations and so many answers. Hello, everyone. It's time to propose the vote of thanks. Myself, Dr. Satish Jadhav from Jalgaon. At the outset, I would like to thank the HRDC for giving me an opportunity to propose the vote of thanks of the day one afternoon session of this wonderful refresher course in disaster management. I thank particular Professor Dr. Mule for your insightful presentation on industrial disasters. Sir is explaining of the practical challenges in risk assessment was particularly valuable. I hope it will be a great value to all participants in the future when dealing with this topic. Your contributions are crucial to our understanding of comprehensive disaster management. I extend my sincere thanks to Professor Dr. Mule on behalf of the HRDC and all the participants. With the kind permission of the Director of HRDC, I hereby declare that the today's session is over. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks a lot for an opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
There is, sir,
Thank you so much,
there are
sir.
some, sir, काही सूचना आहेत का उद्याच्या सेशन संदर्भात, सर? मी रिक्वेस्ट करतो, प्लीज, जर असतील तर, किंवा फीडबॅक फॉर्म संदर्भामध्ये.
फीडबॅक फॉर्म ओपन होत नाहीये.
ओपन होतोय सर, चेक करा सर. क्लिअर
नाही ना, ते तुमचं प्रायव्हेट कनेक्शन असं काहीतरी म्हणताय.
ओपन होतोय सर, पार्टिसिपंट ओपन करताय ना.
ओके सर, थँक्यू.
चेक करू बघा, संध्याकाळी चेक करा एकदा, नाही उद्या मला सांगा.